Hey everyone, this is Adam Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology. Today we are going to take a look at the Sun conjoining Uranus in the sign of Taurus over the weekend. I'm going to take a look at all 12 whole sign horoscopes so that you can get a feel for what topics are likely going to be activated alongside of the themes that you will most likely see given the Sun and Uranus getting together in Taurus. So that's our agenda for today. Before we get into it, as always, remember to like and subscribe. We want people who love astrology and consider it a part of their spiritual practice or lifestyle to think of this as a home for that practice. That's really the intention behind my own relationship with astrology and the reason that I'm doing it. So if you find that connection here, give us a little subscribe, help us grow. We appreciate it. You can find transcripts of any of these talks on my website, which is nightlightastrology.com. When you are over there, please note that we are in enrollment season right now for the upcoming class. Ancient Astrology for the Modern Mystic. Our first year course begins June 22nd. Go to the courses page, click on the first year course, learn more about it. Today is the final day of the early bird sale. So if you want to take advantage of that sale, be sure to do so before tomorrow. You will notice those early bird payments at the bottom allow you to save significantly on the cost of a monthly plan or the upfront plan. Either way, you save significantly on the cost of the course. So please do take advantage of that. Now, if you are someone who might need a little help to make the program happen, please use the need-based option. Just click apply now, tell us your situation, pick within the sliding scale range, and there you go. You're all set to go. We make that available for people who might be hurting financially or in a difficult situation, limited or fixed income, or maybe the currency exchange rate makes it not so feasible to take the class. We get it. We want to make sure that nobody's priced out of studying a sacred topic like astrology. So we try to be as flexible as we can with the pricing. We trust that people will use it if they need it and will use the normal prices if they can afford it. On that note, after I sign off today, there is a full informational video where I tell you about everything the class includes. I go into great depth and detail about the program. So if you want to learn more about it, I will probably answer all questions you have in that video. It's tagged on at the end today. All right, on that note, let's shift our attention to the real-time clock, get into some horoscopes. Here we can see we're Friday, May 16th, today, the sun is just 1 degree off from Uranus. Now, if we back the sun up just a little bit to say Wednesday, May 14th, that's the 3-degree range. You may have already experienced some of the things that we're going to talk about today earlier in the week, though for many people, you will not typically notice the most potent effects of the transit until it's very close to that exact moment is happening tomorrow evening, Saturday, May 17th. Give it a couple days after that, the sun moves into Gemini by Tuesday, May 20th. So you could experience this anywhere from today until, let's say, Tuesday. But I think you will probably notice the most acute manifestation of the transit in your life over the weekend, probably tomorrow evening, tomorrow afternoon, Sunday morning. That to me is really the space within which you're likely to see these expressions. Now, there are 3 things that I want all of us to watch for, regardless of what's going on in your horoscope. These are sort of universally applicable themes given the symbolism of Sun, Uranus, and Taurus. I highly recommend going back to yesterday's video if you missed it for the context of this transit, because the Sun-Uranus conjunction that we're focusing on today is happening right alongside Mercury square to Mars. And I covered the juxtaposition of those 2 transits in yesterday's talk. So that would be additional context that could really help you with understanding this weekend's transit. Today, we're just looking at Sun-Uranus and just the horoscopic position of the sign of Taurus. So on that note, there are 3 things that I would watch for given the Sun, Uranus, and Taurus. I take the quote, the phrase sunshine daydream, the revolution of a sunshine daydream, being a little poetic here, but I'm taking that from a Grateful Dead song that I really like. Anyway, when I think about what constitutes a breakthrough, a moment of innovation, a moment of greater liberation in the sign of Taurus, I think about those things that grant a greater sense of this world being a peaceful, beautiful, enjoyable place, a sunshine daydream. All of us on some level, and even ancients believe this, it's very clear in Indian philosophy that one of the main pursuits of life is on a basic level stability and security materially. Do I have food? Do I have shelter? Do I have clothing? I've been using a reference to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? You kind of think of that. Am I safe? Am I stable? Am I secure? And then from there, we might build up towards secondary goals like ease, pleasure, comfort, right? And then maybe from there, things get a little bit more toxic as we start getting greedier and greedier and thinking about like wanting lots of wealth and wanting a Porsche or, like whatever. So when I think about the sun Uranus, I think about all of the different souls right now that will be considering what is the revolution that leads me to that feeling that life, like the spring energy, metaphorically or symbolically, that it is filled with life, abundance, ease, sweetness, stability, simplicity, security, enjoyment. Where is the revolution in my life right now that is taking place or that needs to take place such that that outcome is more of my experience, right? I get to experience life as a sunshine daydream. So hope that makes sense. That to me is one way of conceptualizing what the sun and Uranus are doing. Number two, revolution with respect to how we find, locate, create peace, stability, and ease. Now, this is connected to the first one, but it's slightly different. One of the things that the sun and Uranus can do is highlight where instability exists. Let's give a simple example of a person's diet, a very earthy thing. A sun Uranus transit can come through and you'll drink 3 more cups of coffee than you usually do by mistake. Now I'm talking about sun Uranus and Taurus here. And you will feel really jittery to the point where all of a sudden you go, I'm not sure that I need life with caffeine any longer. Now I'm not giving up my coffee. So, you try to take it from my hands, I'll kill you. No, I'm just kidding. But you get the point, which is that the sun Uranus can help us understand where ease or peace or stability is needed by highlighting what is most unstable, ungrounded, or lacking in peacefulness. That is a very earthy part of our daily habits and routines. It's weird that the sun Uranus in Taurus will give us a picture of what ease and peace looks like by highlighting where the instability exists. Oh, you drink a little bit too much coffee, and in this exaggerated moment of going too far, you suddenly become aware of the fact that this isn't your best friend. Now I'm going to drop down to only 1 cup rather than 3 every morning because I just took 6 and it made me realize that even 3 is too much. Do you get what I mean? The other thing would be where, in order for greater peace or greater stability or even greater ease, some habit needs to change. It's not that we're not already living with some things that work, but as, like a Taurus rising myself, I will tell you, there is nothing more offensive to a Taurus than suggesting that you change something that's working and enjoyable. It's like, well, why? Why would you ever do that? and you have to go, well, because actually, if you make this change, there could be even greater peace, ease, and stability. And the Taurus is like, I'm not sure. I'm pretty happy, But anyway, something like this can occur where we can go further to create even more ease, peace, and stability. And so being open to something that feels initially like a risk or that may even constitute a temporary destabilization, but is part of a process leading to a deeper sense of ease and peace could be a part of how we experience this. Anyway, think of all these themes in general. 3 would be revolution around pleasure, body, and earth. Sometimes the real revolution I've learned in the sign of Taurus, because I've had it in my first house for all these 7 years now, is to honor, acknowledge, recognize that it's not just a moral compass that we have to follow in life or a spiritual compass or an ideological compass. Those things are all part of life. But what about the sensual compass? What about pleasure? What about enjoyment? What about aesthetic? What about color? What about taste and touch? What about our bodies as wise beings that have instinctual knowledge and that connect us to a way of life that is not purely about the right path, but is about the one that feels good? Take that too far, and sure, you are a hedonist, something like that. But if you are only living through ideology and morality, you're probably dogmatic and you're probably rigid in your thinking and you're probably ignoring your body. So we have to bring these things together somehow. Um, I find personally that my body allows me a great sense of humor when it comes to my ideology, because my body's like a little my body is a little bit more willing to compromise, than my ideas are. So I have learned that my body is a great source of humility and irony and humor and absurdity, because I'm just a little animal, and so are we all, cute little animals. So revolution around pleasure, body, and earth. Where do we find more contact with earth as the revolution that's needed right now? More contact with body, more contact with the goddess, more contact with the way of nature, the wisdom of the elements. I think there's something animistic about the sign of Taurus that we can miss in associations with things like wealth and comfort and like materialism, right? The deep natural animistic wisdom of the earth signs give us a compass to orient our lives by that is just as meaningful as ideology, belief, doctrines, dogmas, ideas, morality, etc. So bring in that guidance system. That could be a real revolution. All right, on that note, let's turn to horoscopes. So given those prompts, now I'm going to tell you where this Sun-Uranus conjunction is taking place with respect to the whole sign house location. So if you're new to the channel, I recommend listening to this for your rising sign, because in Hellenistic astrology, we use whole sign houses, which is the same exact thing that all horoscopes utilize, which means that the transit by whole sign house will align with the actual location of its transit in your birth chart if you listen for your rising sign. Now, you could listen to anything. If you listen to your sun sign, then just listen to that sign. And I'm just going to briefly remind you of house topics where you may find this revolution of a sunshine daydream taking place. So for Aries, it is in your second house, a place connected to things like material comfort, ease, stability, security with respect to money and resources, things that you cultivate or develop that can support your life on a material level. So there is a significant revolution, little moment here taking place in your second house. For Tauruses, it's the first house. It's body, identity, self, health, appearance, self, and life. Life is an exploration of self and character. So where are you headed personally? What redirection or transformation are you continuing to go through as Uranus is finishing up a long transit in your first house for Tauruses? If you're a Gemini, this is in the 12th house. What little lightning bolts are illuminating things that have been hidden or unseen or underneath or behind the scenes? Maybe things that have been undermining you that you're waking up to, or maybe things that need to come forth that you've been afraid of showing, or places that are less known to you. So that place of unconsciousness being suddenly illuminated for Geminis. For Cancers, it's in the house of groups and community. How is your relation to a broader community of like-minded people, professionals, colleagues, changing or shifting or revolutionizing right now? What is the direction of your life as it exists in community spaces? That is the subject for Cancers. For Leos, it's taking place in your 10th house. That is the career house. And so we're looking at this revolutionary impulse coming through the space of your public engagement, civic, social arenas of life, direction of your career and profession, or where you feel called to play a role in the larger public sphere of life, and revolutionary impulses that guide you in the world as well. So for Virgos, we're looking at this in the 9th house, the place of education, higher learning, religion, spirituality, the pursuit of truth. There's a significant breakthrough happening here with respect to learning and enlightenment, education, spirituality, gurus, teachers, maybe even connection to things like traveling abroad. That little revolutionary impulse is sort of highlighting a long period of revolution that's been taking place for Virgos. With For Libras, the revolutionary impulse of the Sun and Uranus is coming through the 8th house, where our deepest soul bonds, attachments, connections, contracts with other souls exist. How are the nature of soul contracts changing right now? In what ways are you finding greater freedom or liberation within various relationships? What kinds of contracts, bonds, or agreements are opening or closing right now, constituting a shift in karmic dynamics and life purpose and trajectory as karmic soul contracts are beginning or changing or shifting in some Uranian ways? For Scorpios, this is taking place in your 7th house, the place of interpersonal relationships, marriage, love, sensuality, intimacy. What is the revolution around love, sex, marriage, intimacy, or any other kind of interpersonal connections in your relationship with pleasure as it is found and lived and experienced through other beings? So that is the place of the revolution for Scorpios right now. For Sagittarians, this is taking place in the 6th house, a place where we work, labor, and carry things passionately with a service attitude or with an aura of sacrifice and hard work, determination, and labor. It's also a house that can be about impediments and hardships, frustrations, sickness, things we have to overcome as challenges along the way. In what way are you creating a breakthrough right now in your life with respect to what you're working on, working toward, dutifully carrying out, no longer feeling like you feel you want to carry something out? How are you allocating time, money, energy, and resources? And what is worth sacrificing for and what isn't? And also, how are you finding new or exciting ways of overcoming hardships or of advancing in some kind of work or project? I love this for being a very supportive transit to help you continue to develop or work or achieve something that requires a lot of hard work. Suddenly, there might be an aura of ease or breakthrough in a work process. With respect to Capricorns, we're looking at this in the 5th house. Place of creativity, creative fulfillment, also a place connected to children and pregnancy. Is there the sudden news of a pregnancy? Are there some breakthroughs happening in the development of your children or your life as a parent? But also in a broader and more just general sense, the 5th house has to do with creative fulfillment in life. What is the creative revolution for you right now? Where is there a creative call or a almost like a lightning bolt striking you creatively? The need for pleasure and creative fulfillment in life, that things be enjoyable, is important for Capricorns. That's why Taurus is naturally your 5th house. Capricorns will tend to carry things very dutifully, but if there is no pleasure in it, what good is it really? So enjoyment and creative satisfaction, big messages right now for Capricorns. Aquarians, you have this happening in the 4th house of home and family, a place that you will find this revolution taking place. So are you moving? Are you changing your living environment? Are there sudden breakthroughs with respect to parental or ancestral karma? Are there sudden shifts in family dynamics? What does the internal or private sphere of life look like? And what private personal breakthroughs are you experiencing right now in this more hidden, secretive, or private part of the chart psychologically? And then Pisces, in the 3rd house, we see this energy coming through as a moment of breakthrough in things like learning, your mind, your intelligence, your understanding, your expressiveness, how you communicate, how you assert and show your skills and intelligence in the world. There is something here right now that could mean for Pisceans a greater level of confidence, ease, or assertiveness in expressing something of yourself, your skills, your abilities. I love that. Also, this is the house of siblings and people who are like peers or even sometimes competitors. And so, is there some shift or breakthrough happening with respect to how you view or relate to your peers? Maybe there's, Pisceans are pretty empathetic. Maybe this is a moment where you're going to find greater ease in expressing your own individuality, even if there might typically be a fear that people would interpret that as competitive or too assertive or something like that. Also, just again, anything shifting significantly with respect to things like siblings or the environment around you, the everyday world, and the sort of like the culture of your life it's like almost like you're going through a culture shift psychically. Well, that to me is just a helpful exercise. I always just tap into the house locations of the transits, especially the big ones when they're coming through, kind of remind myself of what's going on. Um, I hope that you will stick around after I sign off here to hear more about the upcoming Year One program. It is one of the best things you could possibly do for yourself to enter into an astrological lineage with a community of people and teachers and teachings. Um, it's wonderful to learn and like so many of our students meet outside of classes in meetup groups to study together. There's tutoring sessions with our staff. It's such a great program, and to find a place where you can take the guesswork out. You get a coherent, structured way of doing things that you can take from and also build off from creatively to become your own voice, your own astrologer. Those are just some of the benefits of the program. I'll tell you more after I sign off. I hope that you all have a great weekend. We'll see you again next week. Bye. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking around. I'm excited to tell you about our upcoming program, Ancient Astrology for the Modern Mystic. It is our first-year course in Hellenistic astrology that begins at the end of June. June 22nd is our starting date. I'm going to take you over to the course page to tell you more about the program and what you will learn while you are in it. So here we go over to the Nightlight Astrology website. You can find this at nightlightastrology.com. Click on the courses tab, go to the first year course. Now, this program is ideal for people who maybe have a little bit of background already in astrology. Maybe you've done some studying on your own independently, taken some courses or webinars and workshops, but you're looking to deepen your understanding of astrology. And maybe Hellenistic astrology in particular has been calling to you. I'll tell you more about what Hellenistic astrology is in a minute, but on the first year course page, you're going to find everything that the course includes. I want to make the structure of the course clear first. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you 5 reasons that I think anyone might have for studying astrology. And you can see if you check any of those boxes. First of all, there are 30 classes on the year. It's just a little under a year-long program with 30 webinars. Every webinar is 2 to 3 hours long, including a lively Q&A and conversational section after we finished our lesson for the day. Each of those lessons I lead personally through live webinars, so you can attend those live. If you want to follow along at your own pace in your own time, on your own schedule, you can always look at the recordings and take those in. And I'm going to show you what the class page looks like so you can see how you can interact with the course as uniquely and creatively as you want to. But you can either attend the live webinars or listen to the recordings or audio or video. In between major units of study within those 30 classes, we have separate classes outside of the 30 classes that are essentially tutoring sessions led by our staff, our course directors. We have 3 of them for our first year program, 3 tutors that help me guide every single class you're in and lead study sessions, and are also staffing an interactive group forum discussion where you can ask questions, look at charts, practice what you're learning with all of your classmates and with tutors there to help you. They'll always answer questions within a business day. So it's a really well-staffed, well-structured program. In between those major units of study and the breakout sessions, we also have guest speakers that come in throughout the year that you get free access to. The recordings are archived for you in your class folders. So you're getting people within our curriculum. And you're also getting to visit with some astrologers who are outside of the Nightlight School, but we really admire their work, and so we bring them in. You also have a ton of bonus material. With every lesson, we have recommended quizzes, study guides, optional reading. And that allows people who are really, really, intense, deep, like studious types to go as far as you want to with the material, while other people who are maybe, content to take things in at, just kind of taking in the classes, that's there for you too. So you can kind of go as deeply as you want to. The class, as the year goes on, goes through major units of study in ancient Hellenistic astrology. So if you're not familiar with ancient Hellenistic astrology, this is the earliest form of horoscopic astrology. This is where the astrology that you've probably learned today comes from originally. And that makes some of its features unique. Like, for example, ancient astrologers utilized whole sign houses. We study why they used whole sign houses, how they used them, and we study the why behind really everything: houses, signs, planets, aspects, dignities, essential and accidental dignities, delineation approaches? How do you read and predict within a natal chart? All of those theoretical areas of astrology, we not only learn how to do, but we learn the why behind it. And this is what I think people find most empowering about the course, is that ancient astrology really helps to give you the rationale for everything so that you have the insight available to go off script. What I mean by that is, like, let's say you're learning about a sign, Aries or Taurus or a Gemini, something like that. Ancient astrology won't just give you a list of the adjectives or keywords or descriptions of, say, a sign or a planet. It will give you an underlying philosophical explanation that then allows you to extrapolate from it the kinds of lists that you read in textbooks, which means you'll have an understanding of why everything on a list in a textbook is there in the first place. And you'll also have the insight and creativity available to add things to the list that are a part of your own unique intuition and contribution to astrology. And this is what ancient astrologers wanted students of astrology to learn, the why behind everything. So this is a class where, even though you're seeing things like planet signs, houses, dignities, aspects, and you're like, oh, I've already learned about those things. Not if you haven't studied Hellenistic astrology. I don't mean to sound condescending, but like, truly, most people's experience coming through this program is, wow, I had no idea all that I didn't know about the roots of everything that I've understood thus far about astrology. So it really is about digging into the philosophical core of why we do everything. And then you have greater intuitive and creative capacity as an astrological craftsman or craftswoman. So anyway, that's a brief explanation of why I think Hellenistic astrology is important. Not to mention that ancient astrology was really focused on our ability to accurately describe and predict things in the realm of karma, fate, and destiny, whereas modern astrology's hallmark and strength is psychological depth. And so when you put the two together in our program, which is why it's called Ancient Astrology for the Modern Mystic, I think you have something really special. So on that note, you can see everything that we cover here. So there's a video with some of our alumni you can watch. Everything is there on the page. Now, there are 5 reasons that I want to touch on briefly before I tell you about your payment options and need-based tuition. These are 5 reasons to study astrology that if you mark any of these boxes, especially if you mark several of them, then I think it's a good indication that you might be ideal for this program, might be an ideal fit. So the first one is, if you find that astrology has become a part of your daily, weekly, monthly, yearly spiritual practice, it is a part of how you lead an inner life, then there is nothing more empowering than deepening your connection to that language, because that puts you more in the driver's seat. It's always good to have astrologers that you rely on, teachers that you listen to, get a little objective perspective, especially when you're looking at your own chart through a reading. But there's really nothing more empowering than learning to speak the language at a deeper level for yourself. And if that calls to you, if you want to understand things and be able to speak more confidently and clearly about this sacred language that you love, and this is a great reason to take a structured program. Number 2 is that you feel called to read charts for people. Look, not everyone who takes our programs is on a professional track, but we have 4 years worth of professional training programs at Nightlight that will prepare you to read professionally for others if that's the path that you're on. Maybe you don't even know if you're on that path. That's fine too. Many people take our programs just for the sake of their own personal enrichment, and again, to be kind of more in the driver's seat with respect to your astrological journey. You have more of an understanding. You can be more confident in reading symbols and experiencing transits with your own understanding that you've cultivated. But sometimes people want to read for other people. This will definitely set you up to do that. We have a certification track where you can take exams at the end of every year. They're optional. You don't have to if you're not on that level of interest. Number 3, you have done a lot of self-study. You've heard things from here and there, but you're looking to bring it all together. It is overwhelming to study astrology on your own. So if you want organization, structure, and coherence, what you're getting in this program is going on 15 years of training astrologers, 15 years of developing curriculum that has in mind the overwhelm that many people experience. And this program is structured year 1, year 2, year 3, however far you want to go with our curriculum, to give you an organized, structured, coherent way of understanding the history and language of astrology from both ancient times to modern times, in all of the vastness that the field includes. And also, as we go, we want to give you the confidence that you are a part now of an astrological lineage. Astrology has always been practitioner-based. coming through Nightlight, you are going to have the opportunity to feel aligned with a lineage. If you like my work, if you feel aligned with the way I speak the language, then this might be a good reason to come study with us. Now, if you're seeking the why behind things, if you're like, yeah, that's interesting, I get it, I understand, but why? Why signs? What's the difference between a sign and a house? Why do they ever come up with a sign and a house? What's the distinction philosophically? Why does Mars represent this? Why does Mars in this sign represent that? If you are someone who feels empowered by understanding the why behind things, you are going to love this program, because that's how I am as a teacher. That's how I am as a person. And that's what this program is really all about. Number 5, you are looking for astrological community. Look, I think Nightlight is unique in terms of the kind of warmth, acceptance, safety, and inclusiveness that our community includes intellectually, spiritually. We are really pride ourselves on being a peaceful kind of family. I'm a Cancer, right? So it's kind of a family-oriented environment. So anyway, I will end it there. If you check any of those boxes, you may want to consider studying with us. Now, I'm going to take you over to 2 things. I want to show you the dashboard. So here is the Thinkific page. You're going to join this, and on your dashboard, you're going to find any courses that you've enrolled in at Nightlight, and there are many, so you may end up in being involved in multiple courses, and you'll find that they're all there on your dashboard. Click on one of them, and it will take you in. You're going to find that on the left-hand side, there's orientation instructions, course information, class links, and calendar, all the technical stuff you need to know when you join the course. And then you're going to find that there's, when you go through the lessons, that the lesson includes the video, the audio, the slides, the transcripts, the Q&A box text if you couldn't make it live and see what people were talking about, flashcards, homework, a bonus PDF with all sorts of additional recommended reading, bonus videos, additional video links for bonus material. So every single time that you want to visit something within the course, everything is nicely organized. So you can see here, I'm going to pause this before it starts going, but you can embed the video right there. It's embedded and you can watch it. And then if you wanted to, you could also, right here, you could also download the video and watch it on your own device. And that's same for the audio as well. And then as you go, you'll see all of the lessons are laid out. The study sessions are also recorded if you can't make those live. So everything is nicely arranged on the website for you. And that makes it a course that if you wanted to take 3 years to accomplish, you could take 3 years to accomplish. If you want to take it for the sake of getting certified, you have the full year plus an additional year to take the exam. So, 2 years total that we give people if you're on a professional track. But most people complete the program in a year. And a lot of people, over 50% of our students go on to our year 2 and then our year 3 and horary programs as well. Now, final thing I'm going to show you is right here. You're going to find here is the enrollment options at the bottom of the first year course page. Again, this is at nightlightastrology.com, and you're going to click on the first year course, go to the bottom. The early bird payment saves you several $100s off the cost of the course. That's available till May 15th. Early bird installment plan saves you on the installment plan, regular cost of the course. That's also only available until May 15th. And then need-based tuition. All of our programs include a need-based option where we give you a sliding scale and we say, you pick your monthly tuition number within this sliding scale, which is greatly reduced off the normal tuition price. That is for people who are on a fixed or limited income, receiving disabilities, single mom, whatever the case might be. We want to make sure that nobody's priced out of studying astrology. So you don't have to feel any shame. If that is you, if you need help, if you want to take this, but you need to make it work within a tight budget, we get it. Times are tough right now. We don't think people should be priced out of studying a sacred subject like astrology. So we've been offering need-based pricing for 15 years. Nightlight is a donation-based school. It started that way. We have a sliding scale, so it's kind of like donation. You get to choose your rate anyhow. So if that's something that will help you, please use it. Thank you for listening to this. I hope it gave you a really deep and comprehensive introduction to what the course is all about and why you might find it exciting to come study with us starting at the end of June. So any questions you have about the program as you're visiting the course, email us info@nightlightastrology.com. We'll be glad to talk about anything that you have questions about. We are here and we have a wonderful staff of people at Nightlight who will be a part of your learning experience and are all glad to help you. All right, that's it. We'll see you again later. Bye.